Hi, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. I enjoyed the film. To start out, what was it that made you want to be a part of this?
Well, is something in the true crime thriller space with such a complex character like Annie had been on my bucket list for a really long time. So even just getting the audition, I was really excited about the prospect of doing a role like this. Um, and then once I sort of had the opportunity to delve into the script, one unique aspect that really drew me in was the fact that it focuses on Annie's POV and is really all about her and what she's feeling and what she's going through rather than telling it from the perspective of the killer and glorifying the killer in some sense. So yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. What was your prep like for this?
I had a lot of conversations with our wonderful director, Warren Skeels, before production began, pretty much as soon as I signed on to the project. And we did a lot of work just really nitpicking the script and the story and her emotional journey and pinpointed some really important moments and explored her character um, to such great extent before production even began. So those conversations and also just listening to 70s music and making Pinterest boards with 70s aesthetic and the fashion of the time and looking into that helped me to fully get into, Annie.
I was going to say, how much did the costumes kind of inform the decisions you made as an actress?
That's an interesting question. I think costume and all physical aspects always has have such a great impact on performance. I mean, the closer that you can get to reality is obviously the better, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, Annie's high-waisted flare jeans and her boots and her wardrobe had a really big impact on feeling like her more than anything else, which was super, super helpful to look in the mirror and to match the character that you're playing.
Right. Had you ridden a horse before?
I did horseback riding a little bit growing up, so getting to revisit that and sort of revisiting that part of my childhood was really, really special and exciting to me. I already knew how to ride, but getting to have sort of like a refresher course right before filming, I just had so much fun doing that. And then, of course, any scene that I was on a horse, I was so happy.
It's good. Looks like fun. What was the easiest and hardest part of her for you to connect to?
I think the easiest part would be her hard-headedness and her strong will and her strong nature. I think the hardest part was probably her innocence in the beginning of the film. Me and Warren talked a lot about what it looked like and how it felt being a young 15-year-old girl in a small town
Mhm.
in the 70s where crime really wasn't seen as an issue for the average person. Um, and not having the technology that we do now, and then that innocence coming through and her need to exaggerate a little bit at the beginning of the film and you know fib to get that attention that she feels like she's not getting. So that was one aspect of her and her personality that I had to sit with for a minute before I landed on a way to portray it honestly that felt like Annie.
That makes sense. Do you have a favorite scene?
There's so many great ones. One of my favorites is the lipstick scene between me and Breck, who plays Margaret. Um, and it was a fan favorite throughout. Like Warren always says it's one of his favorites. Breck always says it's one of her favorites. Um, I think it's just such a special moment between them, and even though they're kind of opposing forces throughout the film, I think in that moment they really come together, and you get to see that despite it all, they do have that deep rooted sibling love and support for one another, even though they butt heads.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Really enjoyed the film.
Thank you.